Hey everybody, and welcome back to the show. I am really excited to review these Jason Marsalis mounts for you today. And before I do, I want to give a huge shout out to Marimba One, specifically Jeff at Marimba One, for just giving me all of these mounts at PASIC. I didn't even ask for them. You were so nice to just let me have them, to review them and look over them. I've really enjoyed playing with them the last couple months. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. And a huge thanks to everybody who supports the show. Without you guys, this channel would not be possible. You guys rock. On to the review. Jason Marsalis comes from a family of ridiculously talented jazz musicians, including his father Ellis on piano, Wynton on trumpet, Branford on saxophone, Delfeo on trombone, and Jason on percussion. They even have family jazz albums where they all play together. You should check it out, it's super fun. So this mallet series has a super sexy look to them. I love the color combinations of the yarn and the head. Just the black mixed with the colors just looks really amazing. I like that the heads are very round. They don't have like the typical teardrop shape that you would find on most vibe mallets. The shafts are very smooth and the name is engraved into the mallets, which looks really sweet. They even managed to get the signature in there, which looks a little pixelated, but it's still pretty awesome that they got it on there. These have to be the most beautiful mallets I've ever seen in my entire life. Now the weight of these things, they're pretty weighty, but they're not as weighty as like the Innovative Percussion Anders Astrid mallets. Those are like almost like drum corps heavy. So these aren't quite that heavy, but they are beefy and they get a really solid sound because of it, which I really enjoy. If I have one criticism of these mallets, it would be that the mallets are a little shorter than I would like. If you compare them to other popular mallets on the vibraphone, they're an entire mallet head shorter than all of those. Now, if you're playing with two mallets, this doesn't really matter. If you're playing with Stevens grip, you're probably not even going to notice. But if you're a Burton grip player, this can make large intervals kind of uncomfortable in your hands. Particularly octaves in the left hand is a bit of a stretch to get. Now, if you're a jazz musician, you may not be doing octaves in your left hand very often, but those larger intervals can be a little uncomfortable. I wish they were about 1 inch longer. However, I will say in the realm of jazz vibraphone, it is very popular to use short mallets. In fact, some mallets are like 3 inches shorter than these even. And if you're playing two mallet licks on vibes, I think it helps connect the players to the instrument a little bit more. You can get a little bit closer to it, and it's a little bit more comfortable for that two mallet work. I just don't like it for four mallet work if the intervals are big. Let's talk about sound for a minute. Each one of these mallets has a very different sound. So let's start with the number ones. The number ones are the hardest and most articulate mallets. They sound really great for jazz or maybe rock where you need to cut through an ensemble. They do a really good job of being clear without being harsh. So here's a comparison of these mallets to the Dave Samuels mallets, which are also very popular. So here's a little bit of playing in context. Now the number two mallets I think are going to be my favorite solo mallets for vibraphone right now. They have a warm, full-bodied sound. You can use them across the entire range of the instrument, and for solo playing, they produce exactly the sound that I'm looking for. It's full, it's big, but also articulate. And if you really want to, you could mix it with the number ones, like your top mallet could be the number one if you really want the melody to pop out a little bit, and the rest of the mallets could be the number twos. But I just really appreciate these so much. If I had to compare them to another mallet series, I'd say they're just a smidge softer than the Christos Raffalides mallets, which I absolutely love. Those mallets are great. So these are just a smidge softer than those, but they produce a very warm sound. I love it for solo work. Here's a comparison between these and the Christos Raffalides mallets. And here's a little bit of playing in context. And that brings us to the number 3s and the number 4s. Now, interestingly enough, the number 4s are actually a bit harder than the number 3s, which is a little odd. You'd figure that the 4s would be the softest in the series, but the 3s are actually the softest in the series. So that's it's a little strange, but these mallets are so incredibly similar. I mean, the differences between the two of them are so slight. If anything, I would say that the number 3s, the reds, are just have a little bit more weight to them. And these tan and black ones have a little bit more bounce off the bars. But they suffer from the same problem that all soft vibraphone mallets have. And that is, if you're not playing on a 4-octave instrument, the use of them is like fairly limited. You know, like these type of mallets don't sound very good in the whole upper octave and a half of the vibraphone. You're gonna get a lot of frame noise and not a lot of volume or articulation at all. So yeah, and that's not a problem with these particular mallets. This is just a problem of all soft vibraphone mallets in general. I always leave, when I play with soft vibe mallets, I always leave just a little bit disappointed because you don't have access to the full range of the instrument. So for certain pieces, I think this would be okay. But for most people, I mean, you can do just about anything with the 1s and the 2s, and that's what I would recommend. So here's an example of a context you may want to use the 3s and 4s in. So what would I rate these? These would get a 4.9 flasks out of 5. They have a really great sound. I love that they're full-bodied without ever sounding harsh on the instrument. I really love and appreciate that. Especially the 2s are so warm and the 1s have just such a pretty clear sound. These are definitely gonna be my go-to mallets for a long time, especially for 2-mallet playing. I really love them. If you're the type of player that plays a lot of jazz or big band stuff, definitely pick up the 1s first. Or if you play a lot of solo vibes, I would definitely pick up the 2s. Or if you happen to have a lot of money, you can pick up both. They're just really great mallets, and I've found them so useful. I've been playing with these for about 2 months now, and almost any situation I encounter in the band setting, the orchestra setting, or in a solo setting, either one of these mallets would be a really great choice. Thanks again to Marimba One for sending me these mallets. You guys are awesome. I love your company. Hashtag not sponsored. Not sponsored at all. I just really like the way that they do business. I like how friendly they are. I asked them so many questions at Basic. I mean, I was there for a couple hours just asking questions about mallets and instruments and all kinds of stuff. And every single Marimba One employee at that booth took the time to sit down and talk to me and explain anything that I had questions about. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciated using these mallets and having the chance to review them. Hope you guys have appreciated this review. If you want to see more stuff like this, please leave a comment below or send me an email, marimbalogy@gmail.com. I'll see you next time.